Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode. I am Kavita Agrawal, the founder of EXP Invest, and we are here to talk about what is going on in the market. Now, we have to listen to the charts because politicians are making way too much noise and saying too much. So, let's turn our attention to Nifty's chart and then to charts of stocks that you are concerned about. Share your concerns in the comment section, and one by one, I will go through your comments and I will try to answer as many questions as I can in 30 minutes. So let's get started. All right, I will now share my screen with you. Okay, perfect. All right, so Nifty, what does it look like? So we are first going to look at the daily time frame. Since Monday, when we last discussed Nifty's chart, the daily time frame has not really changed. The fact remains that it's still positive in terms of momentum because the level of 40 is not yet broken. And we can see that when the rally actually started, 40 was where the Nifty had taken support and lead. Nifty's RSI 25 period, mind you, this is the RSI 25 period. This is not the default 14 period RSI that is typically used. So this remains the support level for momentum, and because it is not yet breached, we continue to remain in a bullish momentum on the daily time frame. 75-minute time frame, however, the story is different. This vertical line is where we have breached and come into the bear range or the negative range on the as per the RSI 25 period on the 75-minute chart. The key level of 25,000 was broken, and now the level of 24,500 and this green line. If you see, this green line is the 100 EMA. This seems to be acting as pretty potent support for the broad market Nifty index. Now, something interesting is happening on the RSI here. As you can see, a positive divergence has built. So, price here has forged a lower low, but the RSI is forming a higher low. Now, there is a characteristic of this higher low that needs to be paid attention to, and that is the right side tip of the RSI is above the level of 40. This indicates that this positive divergence actually is a high quality positive divergence. So I'm not saying that we are ready to go all in the market just yet. We still need to wait for the price action to improve. The price structure still suggests bearishness because on the lower time frames of 75-minute and 15-minute, we are still seeing lower high, lower low formations in the price. So, one key resistance that I am looking out for is 24,730. In addition to this, another thing that I will want to wait before it before turning very bullish on the broad market is the 15-minute time frames RSI 25 turning overbought. So right now, even the 15-minute time frame is in the negative range, but it is also showing positive divergence. But this positive divergence is not a strong positive divergence as of yet, though it is a pretty stretched out one. I mentioned that, but it doesn't really mean much. We have to definitely wait for it to go above the level of 60 and sustain. Now the problem is that 15-minute time frame is susceptible to giving false breakouts like we saw over here. But 15-minute time frame is only the secondary confirmation. Like I said, a higher high in the price structure is also important. So you will see when this false signal was given by an overbought on 15-minute time frame, the price failed to create a new high which was a signal that this decline is going to continue in the market. So here we do see a definite slowdown in the bearish momentum, but considering the very sour global political geopolitical scenario, I would definitely wait for more confirmation. And this is the kind of market where it's better to stay at the sidelines and take a little bit of a vacation from the market. Because if you try to overpower this situation with so much volatility, uncertainty, you're bound to make mistakes. So a trending market is a better market to be aggressive. In this kind of a market, it's better to just take it easy, stay on the sidelines. All right, so that was about Nifty. We will now start looking at your questions. And I can see that on Instagram, we have few questions which have been asked. So one question is next sectors to lead the index this week. Now, very hard to say, but we did discuss indices last week. So based on that, it looks like the FMCG sector continues to remain. The FMCG sector was looking quite bullish, but uh, depends on whether this decline goes below this key uh, support level and whether the 75-minute time frames RSI continues to remain bullish. But among all sectors, I think FMCG is looking positive. PSU Bank seems to be taking good support at the previous high and is also bullish on the daily time frame. The Nifty Healthcare and Nifty Pharma, I think they look positive. So I will be looking out for opportunities in these four sectors. All right. So we have a question from a very inspiring Instagram handle name. Don't take leverage. The question is for Centec. Oh, sorry. I think this needs a space. Yeah. Zentech. Um, Very illiquid stock. I have done some analysis in the past. The underlying trend continues to remain bullish in Zentech. Since the weekly time frame RSI 25 period has not reached the level of 40 yet. But on the daily time frame, okay, let's see. On the daily time frame, it went very oversold and then very overbought here. So I want to see what is happening on the weekly time frame. So the weekly time frame here actually resisted the level of 60. Now, this kind of extreme movement typically happens when a trend change is due. So the fact that this rally happened but did not cross above the all-time high, and it's a pretty strong rally, it got stunted before, and the RSI being so giving mixed signals on the daily time frame, I would not go close to Zentech at this point of time, and I would avoid NSDL. Okay, so NSDL newly listed, we don't have any data, and as you know, for technical analysis, we need some price action. So we will move on to the next stock. Guys, use this opportunity and ask good questions. Ask about stocks that matter. Don't ask about stocks which have been listed like a day ago. And there is a question about options. As you know, I don't trade or recommend trading in any kind of leverage instruments. So we will not be taking any questions from that space either. So KNR Constructions and NCC. Interesting. So KNR Construction on the weekly time frame is in a very strong bull trend since 2014, and it continues to remain pretty bullish till date. As speaking of from the long term trend perspective, and what is interesting is on the daily time frame, it seems to be building up some strength, but we need to wait for confirmation. There is absolutely no So it would be very risky to participate in the stock just yet. You have to wait for it to come out of this consolidation zone that it seems to be stuck in. Now, over here, this is a closing price, and this is also a closing price around the same level. And it would appear like the stock has been building positive divergence, multiple positive divergences in this area. This one is not yet complete, but I'll take the liberty of drawing the line, assuming that it's going to go up. So, what would confirmation on the daily time frame look like for me? So, this is where the stock actually turned bearish, this point where it broke below the level of 40 on the daily time frame, mind you. Here it was very, very bullish right here. And you can see that this stock has a tendency to give these sideways consolidations repeatedly. So here it's given consolidation. And then after consolidation, it takes a strong dip and then maybe it goes into rally. So a bit of a jittery stock, I must say. Here it wasn't really nice and strong bull run. Now, if you're regular on my channel, you know that what I believe about the past price action. It's like a cheat book that we all have. So, past price action tells a lot about what to expect in the future of a stock. So, here what we are seeing is that when the daily time frame is in positive range, the trend is strong. When it goes into the negative range, we see a lot of consolidation and a lot of poor quality movement. So this entire range, it showed mixed signals. Then it turned very positive very briefly, but then also created a negative divergence and went back down. And all this period, you can see the weekly time frame was also looking pretty sad. So I think the first thing I want to wait is for a strong breakout above this consolidation zone and then maybe revisit what seems to be unfolding on the stock. For now, I would avoid any kind of activity here. Um, all right, so let's take a look at the okay, so Tatva Pharma, so it's a pharma stock. Okay, and it seems to have given a pretty strong turnaround with volume pickup. Okay, that's a little promising. But my issue with the volume profile here is that the pickup is not consistent. It's coming in spikes and bursts, which can sometimes indicate towards a little bit of um, you know, muddy waters. So, because of that, I will wait for this rally to continue more and for the volume profile to improve. Here, the volume profile is making me uncomfortable. It appears like the rally is unfolding, but I would not venture into this given the clear red flag. So pharma sector is, I think it's positive. I think it has strength despite of the commentary coming. I think it's noise at this stage. It doesn't really have any or much weightage. I would continue to look out for opportunities there, especially not from a very short term period. But I think if the ongoing negative commentary about the pharma sector were to affect it, I think that dip would be a good buying opportunity subject to a broader chart and broader trend analysis for them. So Girish is asking what is my outlook on market. So Girish, as I was saying a while back, with respect to the broad market, I think we are at a key spot. And I am waiting for a breakout either below the level of 24,500 on Nifty to conclude that it's bearish and we should absolutely step out of the market, or what was or a move above this level for now, 24,732, and sustenance, not a candle like this where it broke out but then, declined again strongly. What I want to see is that we go above it and we stay. And actually, you know what, I'm going to move this level up above this spike. So I think a sustained move and closing above the level of 24,950 or 25,000 roughly would give us some confidence. And incidentally, if you see, it's also right above the 20 EMA. And you will see since the correction has started, Nifty has failed to sustain above the 20 EMA. So any sustenance above the 20 EMA for more than a couple days, I think that is what we should wait for to, witness a continuation in the broad market rally. All right. Okay, so Bhuvneshwaran has joined. Let's see if he has any questions that he would like to ask. We can work on them. Kshitij is asking for questions. So Kshitij is on YouTube and he's asking for analysis of the stock Power India. So, and Bhuvaneshwaran, today we're not doing Zoom link. We are only doing YouTube. So you can ask your questions on YouTube. The Zoom link for the webinar Q&A works only on Mondays and Fridays. All right. So we will look at Power India first. So I think the underlying trend in Power India is very, very strong, but there is a negative divergence on the daily time frame, which is honestly making me uncomfortable. And if you look at the candlesticks which are formed here, they seem bearish in addition to this little um, this candlestick also. So this whole thing doesn't make me very comfortable. For now, I am not feeling very aggressive about Power India. I will wait for it to maybe retrace back to the level of 19,650 and then um, you know uh, decide upon my next steps. um, so, guys, another thing, if you're not mentioning it, I'm assuming that you're talking about or asking for a new position or new entry analysis. If you have a current position and if you want to stop loss or target, you need to specify that to me. All right, so Zydus Life, I think the underlying momentum here is quite strong, but it has not yet crossed above the level of 1025. I think that is a pretty key resistance, and we do want to see it move above that level. But on the broad scale, I think Zydus Life has a good momentum unfolding here and definitely worth keeping an eye out. I think above the level of 1025 is when it actually gets attractive. Cool. So next we have a question on Alpex Solar. Strong underlying trend, very strong and consistent volume pickup, big green flag. Now the what I'm seeing is that the volume pickup kind of on the daily time frame, it seems like the volume pickup got stunted here, and since then the rally that has followed, right, has been on dry volumes. This typically indicates the exhaustion of momentum, and maybe here we can expect a little bit of pullback in the stock, and it might happen as a pullback, it might happen as a consolidation. But at this point, I think I will wait for the stock to kind of revisit the level of 1080, 1085, 1080 kind of level. I think that's the first support that I will look out for. And yeah, so long term trend is definitely looking bullish, and I would expect, so if this trend continues upward and breaks above this trend line resistance over here, right? Basically, if it starts creating another higher high, right, then I would definitely expect the stock to continue upward. But for now, based so 75-minute time frame seems to be showing volume pickup. But again, even on the 75-minute time frame, you can see that the volume pickup is not getting stronger, it's getting weaker, right? beyond the point of strong volumes that we noticed on the daily time frame. So I suspect that it can take a small correction, but mind you, the underlying trend continues to remain pretty bullish. So I wouldn't expect a lot of correction here. 1085 seems like the support level to look out for. Okay, next we will look at Synoris Pharma. All right, so seems like a really small stock, but it seems to be taking support at 642, and it seems like the underlying trend is strong. The trend is strong here, and the stock has also given a breakout above this key resistance zone with very high volumes, and every time it comes back to this level of 645-ish, it seems to be giving a strong um, jump here. So, considering the absence of much else, I would expect the stock to continue its upward trajectory unless it reaches the 20 EMA, continues to decline, reaches this previous high support, continues to decline. I think this level can now be moved up slightly here, maybe. So I think right now the stop loss is around 5%. And this is where I would expect a conservative target to lie for the stock, vertically right up at the trendline resistance of 832. And this offers a risk reward ratio of 5.5 at this point. So when this target gets achieved or price comes close to this, that is a good time to reassess how the trend is unfolding, to determine whether we expect continuation or whether we expect exhaustion in the trend. All right. We still have 7 minutes to go. That's a lot of time. We'll try to cover as many stocks as we can. So, Tata Motors, I was looking at the stock of Tata Motors just the other day. Let's take a look again. I don't think the auto sector is in a very good place right now, and I think Tata Motors specifically is in a strong negative range. I had been warning against Tata Motor, and I personally sold it in my portfolio right at the top here on 9th of September at 1070, because clearly the negative divergence and the shifting in range was becoming evident. So since then, the stock has been, and rather actually a few days after, once it broke the 100 EMA, the stock has been really bearish. So unless it recovers and goes back above 250 EMA, I will not be recommending touching Tata Motors whatsoever. You should definitely, Anurag, you should definitely avoid Tata Motors. So, a quick note here, if you guys want to stay connected with me, if you want to be part of my webinars, then consider joining on this link. It's almost free. Every Monday and Friday, I give out Zoom links to the members where you can come and ask questions. All you have to do is visit exp-invest.in/join and sign up, right? On the other hand, if you are interested in being part of my short term plan where you want trade recommendations from me, where you want to trade ready made setups and get updates with respect to trailing stop loss, exits, and reasoning of why we pick up trade setups, then you should visit expinvest.in/STP short term plan and check it out if it is something that you're interested in. Sign up right now because it's Independence Day, and every year at Independence Day, I give a 15% discount. I will be enacting that discount right after this live session. So make sure that you save the link and visit the 15%. Visit the page to know more about the information and take advantage of the discount, because as our regulars know, I don't get discounts. This is rare. Independence Day is the only time when I do come out and give 15% off on my short term plan. And of course, if you want to know about my campaigns, if you want to know about my live sessions, if you want notes on the stocks that we discuss with key levels, then make sure that you join my Telegram channel. The link is right now displayed on your screen. You can simply go to Telegram and search Trade with Kavita, and you will see my channel. Now, the catch is that there are lots of fake channels running with very similar names and absolutely the same photo, so you have to be careful. Make sure you join the correct one. Once you look at the content of the Telegram channel, it will become obvious which is the right channel and which is not. So, the right channel will have about 7,600 members. So make sure that you join the correct channel. And these are the kind of notes that you can expect. So if you're interested in knowing which are the key stocks which have been discussed and what was the outcome of discussions on those stocks, just go to my Telegram channel and you'll find plenty of notes to go through. All right. So with that, let's carry on. Kshitij, I think with respect to Z Entertainment, I don't think it's a very high quality stock because of all the corporate governance issues and everything else. The chart itself is very low quality for Z Entertainment. I think the stock market has so many better opportunities, and that is probably where you should focus. So today we have a new member on YouTube. I haven't seen Naomi before, so let's take a question from her. Crossstorm Info System. I've never seen this stock before. Okay, because it is a pretty new stock in electrical products. Weekly doesn't even have the RSI yet. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, but it's too new. I don't know anything about this company and there's not much technical data, so I'm not able to comment on this for you. If you have another question, I'll be very happy to take that on. Bhuvaneshwaran has a question on Yatharth Hospital. Yatharth Hospital. Okay, let's remove the old drawings and let's redo them. So weekly time frame is looking bullish, volume pickup is consistent. Our daily time frame is suggesting a strong rally unfolding, and the stock has, in essence, is at this moment trying to establish a new all-time high, and there is a lot of activity in terms of volumes that's going on here. Not a lot of volume in terms of broad market, but with respect to its own levels, it seems like it's got some participation coming in. So since it's close to its all-time high, I would recommend that you wait for a proper breakout here. And only if it closes above this level, then consider any activity. Looking at the trend line trajectory, let's see if we have anything interesting to work with. So if I use this point, I don't like the way this goes. So I'm going to delete this and I'm going to go with the support trend line instead. And it looks like it did give a strong move here. The thing about trend line drawing is that it can be very subjective, and what I'm drawing right now might not make a lot of sense to me the next time I look at the charts. But that, I mean, while that can happen, it's not a very disappointing thing. Typically, if I don't feel comfortable with the trend lines, I'll just move on from the stock. But here, considering that the set of trajectory that I've drawn actually fits the previous trend very well, gives me confidence that it's correct. So here I can see there are multiple resistances that the stock Yatharth is currently facing. There is the all-time high, and then there is the trendline resistance also. So it would be prudent to wait for the stock to close above 700 with continued strong volume pickup. Until that happens, sit it out. But once the breakout occurs, I would expect the stock to continue higher with a conservative first target of around 786 and a second target of around 840. But for now, I think 786 is what I would stick with. Anurag, there will be a coupon code, and you will get to know about the coupon code in my Telegram channel. So I recommend you join the Telegram channel. Since you're on YouTube, the coupon code has already been added in the comments right at the top for you to. Sorry, the Telegram channel link has been mentioned right at the top of the comments. If you would just scroll up and take a look. Sarthak has a question for Metropolis. I am looking for an entry around 50 to 100 EMA zone and the target of around 2325. So Metropolis, I can see that there it has established an higher high and it has gone into the bull range at this point. So this is basically where it turned very positive, but this strong candle that it forged, it seems to be struggling to go above it. And you want to purchase it around the 100 EMA. Now, I don't have the 50 EMA, I don't use the 50 EMA, so that I can't help you with. But the 75-minute time frame is showing a strong negative divergence. So you are right to wait. Personally, I think there is a strong support zone here, but at the same time, there is a support zone. Should I take? I think this is a better, this is a more powerful support zone because the RSI touched the level of 60 here. So this is a more important zone. So I think this is a between, like 1850 to 1800. I think if you can catch the stock in this range, more closer to the 250 EMA, I think you'd have a better chance of making a strong entry in the stock, right? And as for the target, looks like I'm gonna have to redraw some trend lines here, so I can see a very strong channel. So I'm going to just use this and project it outward. So we see a bit of a breakout here. So this is the support. I would expect if it retraces, which is very common for it to do. As you can see, it gives a strong breakout above and then goes back to visit the 250 and the 100 EMA. It has done that here, it has done that here, it has done that here. It's a good stock for swing trading, I would say, Metropolis. And actually, I have a lot of history of swing trading in this stock. So this would be a good entry point. And as for the target, I think at a time it's better to keep small targets here if you want to do short-term trading. So the first target I would recommend after this entry would be this 211, 2100 roughly. And then once this gets crossed, then I think we should expect the stock to scale maybe 2300. But take it slow, take it easy. This is a very, jittery stock. So be careful with that. All right. Let's see. All right. Last, let's take a look at Godfrey Philip. So very strong stock. I mean, quality wise, this is a very quality wise, it's a good company. It's been around for a while, and it seems like it has given the breakout above this consolidation zone here after much trial. So it tried to break out here, failed, and then it tried again, but experienced some difficulty, and now it has managed to do it with pretty strong volumes. So it looks good. Weekly time frame also continues to look quite bullish. So I would expect the stock to definitely head to 13,275. No, I wouldn't say definitely. That sounds too sure. But technically speaking, it looks like it's on the path to go to the level of 13,275 sooner than later because it has overcome this key resistance zone where this previous high as well as the trend line was posing as strong resistance for the stock, and it is now headed higher. So from a stop loss perspective, I think if this stock establishes a lower low on the daily chart, if it even retraces this daily candle completely, then that would be a good stop loss to maintain. So That's still a good 8% from this point, and the target in percentage terms is a good 25% target. So barely makes it the risk reward ratio criteria here. So what you can do is you can maybe wait it out because the 75-minute RSI is looking extremely overbought. So maybe a little bit of cooling down here. I would set an alert at the level of 40 or 41 on the RSI and wait for it. And because the stock is now bullish, I would like to add it to my bullish list. All right. Mm, cool. So we will take one last stock, Trans Rail Lightings Limited. Um, the volume profile is very not nice. I can see strong volume pickup on two specific days, meaning that small number of buyers or concentrated buying is clearly driving the price at this point. So technically, it is not giving me a lot of confidence on both the daily and the 75-minute time frame. So I think for Trans Rail, I am going to avoid. I'm going to stay clear of it. All right. So with that, everyone, thank you so much for joining in. We've gone over time today, but thank you so much for being patient with me and listening to me. I hope I was able to answer some of your questions and help you in some way. I like to do the live sessions as a way of giving back to, put some quality chart analysis in a world that is really getting very noisy and it's very difficult to stay focused. So, if you've been helped, please take the time to drop a comment or a like to the video. It helps. Do consider joining my Telegram channel to stay updated. And with that, I will take off. I will see you guys on Friday, same time at 10:30 a.m. Thank you so much for joining. Namaste.